This is the Internet Broadcasting Network at ibnetwork.us.
This is Dave Alley, and this is the Adventure Alley Show, coming to you from the remote IB Network studio in Grand Junction, Colorado. Hi, everyone. Yes, this is Dave Alley, and yes, this is the Adventure Alley Show, and yes, it is allergy season. And boy, I'll tell you what, this is a time of year that I absolutely just cannot handle. I've got a beak that's stopped up half of the time, especially this time of year, and it's hard to get through. And pills and so forth just don't seem to help. But maybe I'll have to take the shot of courage and go back to the old for sure cure, and that's a shot of scotch. Anyway, I think I got a good show for everybody today. I've got some information from our neighbors to the west in Utah. That's going to be my featured state today, and I've got some stuff on where to go, what to see, who to talk to, and people to meet. So I think everybody's going to enjoy that. It's a great state. The state of Utah is fabulous. It's a beautiful place, and if you like desert, which I love the desert, it is an absolutely fabulous paradise. Got a lot of other information, too, as far as other hunting and fishing and trapping licenses fees that are going to go up, and also some information from the Department of the Interior on public land fees, which I'm sure everybody's going to have an interest in. I've got some information on the invasion of the mussel species that's trying to knock on its way here into the great state of Colorado, and I'll tell you a little more about that as we get through the show. Got some other information on some stories on true stories on mountain lion encounters and snakes. Excuse me. And then I have some other information on some information down in New Mexico with the Navajo reservation, and then just some overall just news hit and miss potpourri, and also to let everybody know this month, the month of March, is the Women's History Month, and I do have some information on the Department of the Interior and the positions that women have held now and in the past, which I think is very impressive. And in my opinion, I think women ought to hold more of the rank and stuff here in some of the government programs, because they seem to do a lot better job, and they certainly don't seem to be blowing as much smoke as men do, but that's neither here nor there. That's just my opinion. So anyway, I'm going to get right into it here. I got a couple things that I need to pass by. First of all, I don't have anything on Nancy Pelosi this week. I wish I did, but I don't. If I dug deep enough, I probably could find something, but I don't. But something that jumped out and snapped me right upside the head was some comments made by Maxine Waters, and her and President Trump were literally fist fighting over Twitter on some stuff, and she basically called him a fool and some other superlatives that I can't say on the radio. I guess I could on this network, but I won't. And he basically tweeted back and told her that she was the dumbest person he'd ever seen, and she had the IQ of a snail, one of those invasive mussel snails coming in from Minnesota. Well, anyway, she got back to him, and her comment was, and her reaction was, and this is a quote: "What kind of a man tells an elderly woman of color she needs to pee in a cup to prove how smart she is?" And the only thing I can tell Maxine, besides that she is old and ugly, that if that's where you think your brains come from where your pee comes from, Maxine, you do definitely need to retire. So you are definitely a piece of work, absolutely. Also, just to fill everybody else in, here's some quick information on Hillary Clinton. She was visiting India the last couple of weeks, and poor Hillary fell down in her bathtub in her 5-star resort hotel and broke her arm. She was taking a shower. I guess it was in the morning. I don't know. Anyway, slipped in the bathtub, broke her arm. And she had to go to the hospital and get a cast on it and so forth. And but that didn't stop her tour. She took a tour of some of the ancient museums there in India, and actually fell down a couple of flights of stairs, not all at once, but a staircase here and a staircase there. And sprained her foot as well. So now she's got a cast on her arm, and she's got a wrap around her ankle. I don't know which one it is. Right, left doesn't make any difference. But anyway, that's the situation with poor old Hillary. And boy, I tell you what, her eyesight must be going too, because some of the outfits that I saw her wearing over there in India would absolutely embarrass. I don't know who would embarrass. A 1960s hippie, I'm sure it would embarrass, and I was a 1970s hippie, so that would even embarrass me. But anyway, I think what the deal is with old Hillary, honestly, I think poor Hillary, I think she's been nipping at the old jug. And ever since she lost the election, and even maybe before that, I think she's been nipping at the old jug. So, it's one of those deals where I can all the advice to tell her is, Hillary, we all like to throw back a few, but maybe you should not, crack that cork until sometime after breakfast. Anyway, that's my report for the wonderful state of politics that we have here in this country. Okay, to get right with it, hunting, fishing, and trapping fees for the state of Colorado and for the Great Mountain West and Pacific West are going to go up this next year. The parks and wildlife officials from all states have got together and determined that they are going to increase the fees, but they're not sure for exactly how much. And after their meeting here sometime in June, they will come up with the amounts, and then they will post them on the appropriate sites so everybody can then go out there and on the park and wildlife official sites and check out what they're going to be. That doesn't mean they're going to go up for the 2018, but this is for 2019 and beyond. So anyway, if you're a hunter, a fisherman, or a trapper, or if you like to camp, or you'd like to be out in the parks, the national parks or the state parks, just remember that your fees will go up next year. But all in all, I do not think that's a bad thing. I think if you're going to use the parks and the national parks or the state parks, or you're going to hunt, or you're going to fish, or you're going to trap, then you should pay for it. And I think what they're doing is fine and dandy, because their budget has been cut way back. Obama Llama Ding Dong really cut their budget. As a matter of fact, they didn't even have enough money in their budget over the last 4 years of his presidency to even clean all the outhouses that people use frequently, driving up all the main highways all over the Great West, and well, actually probably all over anywhere in the United States. So anyway, if you're going to use them, pay for it, and I absolutely agree with that, and I have no problem at all. Now, if they were going to charge us $100, to go to the bathroom at a rest stop or to camp overnight at a state park or a national park, I may have a little bit of twinge about that. But as far as the overall increase in fees, I don't have a problem with it, and I don't think you should either. But that's my own opinion, and that's it. And that's the way it's going to be. And as you know me, I do not sugarcoat anything, and I am certainly not politically correct. So if you don't like it, go to a safe space and have a popsicle. Okay, well, let me see. Also, speaking of the government, the Department of the Interior plans to use the fees that they are going to get for leasing the property or the land, like from the BLM to either the oil companies, mining companies, or grazing fees, to put that back into the land for improvement of roads, improvement of fencing, and signage. So again, if these people are going to use the resources off of the land, and especially public land, and I think that they should pay for it, which they do, and they always have, and that I don't think has ever been a factor, except for people think that they don't. Like these big oil companies go in there and rape the land and pillage the forest. That isn't at all the case. The standards are pretty stringent, and their requirements to do everything to clean it up and fix it up after they leave are pretty stringent. So they do that, but they do have to pay a fee, And I agree, that should go back into taking care of all that infrastructure stuff that needs to be taken care of. So kudos again for President Trump to finally figure out, well, if they're going to pay for it and we get the money, we got to put the money back to the land. And that's something a lot that Obama Lama Ding Dong did. And he didn't do that. He probably put that money in his pocket. But that's neither here nor there. And you know what side of the fence I'm on. And I'm not sure you're going to quote that. And I'm certainly not politically correct. So there you go. Okay, let's go on to the next little topic here, which is going to be I was telling you the first of the show here. There is an invasion of these zebra mussels that are coming into the western part of the United States, and they came from the lakes up in Minnesota, and they feel that the mussels that got into the lakes in Minnesota, well, the Great Lakes. It's not all Minnesota's fault, even though those people up there sometimes are you have to shake your head at them, but that's neither here or there either. But these, and I got a lot of friends up in Minnesota, so don't think I'm down on them, because I'm not. I got a lot of friends. I got a lot of good friends. My son-in-law is from Minnesota. He won't admit it, but he is. But I still have a lot of friends up there, and had a lot of good times in Minnesota, and had a lot of cold times too. Boy, I've never been so damn cold in my entire life when I lived those long 3 years in White Bear Lake, Minnesota. Oh my God, there's that cold. But, that's one of the first places, one of the few places I ever lived that I had a heater inside my garage. It was a two-car garage, and it had like an industrial-sized heater in that thing. I mean, it threw out a flame in that thing that an F-16 would be jealous of. And that thing, all the pop and the beer in the refrigerator that I had outside in the garage froze. So even with that kind of heat, it was cold. But 40 below zero, that's, well, yeah. Well, man, gosh, that brings back old times. Not such good times, but old times. Well, anyway, these mussels, these zebra mussels, came from up there, and they probably came from either the Russians or the Chinese, or somebody brought them over and threw them in there. These things multiply like rabbits, and you put them in any body of water, and they'll multiply by the millions over a period of just a matter of days. And once they clog up on stuff, especially like boat motors, the bottoms of boats, anything that has to do with the dam structure, or anything to do with the infrastructure of the lake, or if it is a reservoir, the reservoir, it makes such a flippin' mess that the government has to go in and clean this all up. So it's not good. And anyway, you can't kill them either. You see them on the bottom of your boat, or on your motor, or your lower unit, or something. If you have a boat, you take them off, spray them, kill them with 140 degree water. But if you don't get them all, and even if you took your boat out and took it up to Minnesota and left it out all winter at 40 degrees below zero for 3 weeks, and then you took it back and put it in the lake the next spring, and it had one zebra mussel on it, it would live, and it would repopulate itself. So they're just amazing things, and we've got to try to get rid of them. But anyway, I have a little bit more to say about that, but I need to take a break here real quick. So hang in there with me, and I'll be right back.
Hi everyone, this is Dave Alley of the Adventure Alley Show on the IB Network, inviting you to join me every Thursday at 3 o'clock and then again at 9 o'clock for a show on the great outdoors. I will inform and hopefully entertain you on everything outdoors, such as ideas on camping, fishing, hunting, as well as reviewing local microbreweries and sports bars. Also, please follow me on Twitter at Adventure Alley, or email me at adventurealley@ibnetwork.us.
Programming produced by and for the Internet Broadcasting Network can be found on TuneIn. Be sure to take us with you by using the TuneIn app on all your mobile devices. This is the IB Network.
This week, my name is Harley Mitchell. Next week, I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll use your name. You see, I'm a cyber criminal, and I steal information that defines who you are. Things like your driver's license number, your birth date, your home address, your office address, your social security number, your medical information, insurance cards, business licenses, and if I can get it, your birth certificate. If I can get one, I can get the rest. It's not personal, it's just business. Once I have your information, I bundle it with others and I sell it. Not just once, but over and over and over and over and over.
Due to recent massive data breaches, your personal information is now available for cyber criminals like Harley to buy and sell to their underworld counterparts for profit. Bad people with bad intentions hiding behind your identity. Don't be fooled and lock down your financial life. Use the professionals that Fortune 500 companies use, ID Shield and Legal Shield. It costs less and reaches further. Don't lock down your life. Call Andrea Wacker and get the right protection for the right problem. Andrea Wacker is your Lady of Justice. Call now at 719-243-3174. That's 719-243-3174.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Dave Alley, and yes, this is the Adventure Alley Show. And this show is coming to you today from our remote IB network studio. If I can talk, from our remote IB network studio, get it figured out here in Grand Junction, Colorado. Great day. It's a great day to be in Colorado. It's a great day to be in the great outdoors. Just to follow up real quickly on the zebra mussels that I was talking to you about before I went to the break. These things are an absolute nightmare for not only for anybody that boats, but anybody that has anything to do with public waters or anything that has to do with recreation in the water. They won't hurt you physically. I mean, if you probably try to get them off of your boat and they were all dried out, not dead, but if they were all dried out, and you slipped and hit your hand on it, you'd probably cut yourself with it. Or if you were going up maybe a slick part of a bank or something, trying to climb out of the water, and you slipped and fell, you'd probably hurt yourself. But these things are just an absolute a nightmare, and the game and fish cannot seem to figure out what in the world they need to do to get rid of them. However, I did talk to a game and fish official last summer who said that they thought they had some sort of a secret something or another, and I don't know what that means. I don't know why he would tell me that, but maybe because he was an old drinking buddy of mine at one time. But he said that they thought they had something that might at least put some sort of a deterrent on this mussel, this zebra mussels. But they get started in any body of water, and they'll literally take it over in a matter of months. So, and I think they'll kill the fish or the aquatic animals of any body of water eventually. So, and I don't know what they eat. I think they eat. I think they eat themselves. I don't know. But excuse me, I shouldn't cuss on the radio. But bad habits. When you get as old as I am, you get some bad habits. I mean, you go from some good habits when you're young to some not so good habits when you're kind of middle age, and then you get older and you get some real bad habits, and you can't seem to get out of them, and then you don't seem to remember your bad habits, so you kind of stick with it. So anyway, that's neither here nor there either. So anyway, zebra mussels. Anytime you put a watercraft in any of the bodies of water in the state of Colorado or the great Rocky Mountain West, there's going to be somebody there that's going to check your boat to make sure that there are no mussels on it, or if you don't have a tag that it was cleaned out and cleaned, or I guess I don't know what I'm trying to say here. If your boat wasn't inspected and cleaned out after you took it out of a body of water in Colorado, they put a tag on it so that you can put it in the next time that you come to that body of water. But if you don't have that tag on it, they're going to take your boat and they're going to steam it down with 140 degrees water temperature all around it and on your engine to make sure these little buggers aren't in there and aren't going to cause problems, which they certainly have in a lot of places. So anyway, here's something it's almost as scary, but this is a true story. This is a mountain lion story. Matter of fact, there have been numerous, and I mean numerous, articles, and there have been numerous things on the radio and on Facebook and even on the news here in western Colorado about mountain lions. And I guess the mountain lion population has increased to the point where they think it's almost dangerous to the public. Now, there have been several meetings with the game and goose over here in the western slope to see about maybe having an extra hunting season, or maybe even issuing more than the allotment of hunting tags that they do for mountain lions. And it hasn't been a favorable outcome for what they want to do. But anyway, there does seem to be a lot of mountain lions in the area, and I've got several stories here to prove that. The first story is, and this is the honest to God truth, I swear on a stack of Bibles, me and Al Gore. We were hunting last fall in our old hunting stomping grounds over by Gunnison, and I told you last time that we didn't have a very good season. We had a great time with the camaraderie, but we certainly didn't have any success or meat in the freezer. But we did run across a young kid that was up there. I think it was the second or third day of third season, rifle season, and we were gumming up the road, and he was coming down. We were trying to find a spot. He was trying to come down, and it was about 10 o'clock in the morning. And he drove by, and I always like to stop and, roll down my window and see how everybody's doing, introduce myself and see what's going on and swap stories if need to be and et cetera. And I knew once I pulled up next to this guy and he rolled his window down and I rolled mine down, I could see that this guy had some issues. And the reason I could see that is his skin was as white as a ghost. I swear to God, if I hadn't known, if I didn't see him driving there, I would have thought it was some sort of an apparition in that truck driving it down. He was that white. But anyway, we got to talking. I said, "You okay, friend?" He says, "No, I'm not okay." He says, "I got two small girls at home, and I almost orphaned them." And I said, "What in the world happened? Did somebody take a shot at you?" And he goes, "No, I almost got attacked by a mountain lion." And he said what happened, he was going up through the brush tracking these deer. He had a deer license, and he was trying to track these 6 deer that had just gone over this little knoll. And once he got to the top of the knoll, he flipped his scope down, so he thought he was going to get a close shot within 50 yards of this deer. So he got prepared and got ready to go and threw a shell in his chamber, came up over the top, and sure enough, there were the deer, but there was also a mountain lion about 12 feet from him. And he heard something to the left of him. He looked over and saw this cat, big cat, and the cat hissed at him and started to come after him. And he didn't even pull up. He just around his side and let the round go. And then he pulled another one, flipped another bullet in his chamber, and then shot the cat again. He said the cat got within 8 feet of him before it fell over dead. And luckily enough, he put 2 rounds in that thing, or that cat would have been all over him. So that's one story, and he was as white as a sheet. And I felt sorry for the kid, and I said, you want me to help you do something? He says, "Oh no, I'm going to go down and call the Game and Fish and tell them what I did. It's the dead cat up there, and I'm going to go home, and I'm not hunting again this year." So anyway, that's story number 1. Story number 2, the very same weekend, up at our cabin at Blue Mesa, one of the guys came down. They were all packing up their cabins and going home. And I was talking to one of the cabin owners right above us. And I told him about this story with this kid. And he says, "Well, I got a story better than that." He says, "There's a mountain lion right down there at the end of your road. It just killed a deer." And he dragged the deer into the brush. And we came back yesterday to see if the deer was still there. And the mountain lion had eaten the deer and it was gone. But he said, there are mountain lions up here. And he thought there was at least 2 or 3, maybe even 4 in that particular area, and that's unusual because cats don't like to be around one another. So Very interesting indeed. But those are two stories about mountain lions. We'll see what happens with the decision that the Game and Fish are going to make, and or it should be say the Parks and Wildlife are going to make on the hunting season or the extra hunting season for these mountain lions. But be careful if you guys go out in the great outdoors. And I know there's a lot of hikers. There's a lot of people that get out and hike any time of the year. Be vigilant, and if you have an opportunity and you can, take some sort of a weapon with you. I always take a gun when I hike or fish or hunt. Obviously, when I hunt, I have to take a gun, but I always have a sidearm just in case something comes up like this. This deal with the mountain lion, I could have drawn real quick and thrown a couple of rounds into this cat who's going to attack me. Now, with that being said, would I shoot a mountain lion? If it wasn't coming after me and it was running off, no, I would not. I would not kill it, because my philosophy and my situation is with hunting. If I can't eat it, I'm not going to shoot it. So there you go. Now, if it was going to attack me, yeah, I would shoot it. So there you go. Well, let's see what else. Speaking of attacks. I got an article. This very interesting article. You know how much of afraid I am of snakes. There's not many things I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of really three things. I'm afraid of the Democratic Party. I'm afraid of snakes, and I'm afraid of my wife. Now, those are the three things that I'm afraid of. But the article that I read here in last week's paper was that it said here, afraid of snakes, bees, and dogs are deadlier, and after I read this article, they're absolutely 100% right. It said that over the survey that they had taken from 2008 to 2015, there were 478 people that were killed by hornets and wasps and bees, and 272 people were killed by dogs. And that's just an absolutely amazing amount of people that died. That's in contrast with only 99 people died from either snake bites, spider bites, or other accidents like they run into a bull at a rodeo or something, or they fall into a hog pen and the hogs eat them up. Or whatever what hog would do, I guess would just trample them. I don't know. I've always been afraid of hogs too. Not as much as I am of snakes, but I'm afraid of hogs. But anyway, and they said the majority of the deaths by dogs were for young children under the age of 10, and that's an alarming statistic in my opinion. So my point being is that I still say, if you're going to go out in the great outdoors, always carry and be aware of where around your surroundings. And if you don't want to carry a gun, you're afraid of guns, or you're a gun hater, or you're whatever. There are a lot of people that like the great outdoors that don't do that. That's fine. But I would carry mace or bear spray or hairspray if you're like some of the girls and the women I've seen over here in Grand Junction. The hairspray that they use, oh my God, that would kill any bear or mountain lion. Or bee, probably, in that remake. But that's neither here nor there. But anyway, be prepared, be vigilant, and if you think to yourself, there's a snake over there, I better stay away from it, go over and kill it, because it's probably going to bite me and kill me. No, your chances of that happening are absolutely slim to none. The chances of you getting bit by a snake and dying in the state of Colorado are a lot less. It's a lot less than you winning the lottery. Did I say that right? Well, anyway, whatever. Getting struck by lightning. Your chances of getting struck by lightning are greater in the state of Colorado and dying than being bit by a snake. So I'm not afraid of lightning, but I'm afraid of snakes. Still am. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. Well, that's enough said about that. Well, I think I'm going to swing into another break, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to start talking about our friends to the west and some of the great things to do, some of the great people to see, and some of the great things that they have going on in the state of Utah. Be right back.
Hi, everyone. This is Dave Alley of the Adventure Alley Show on the IB Network. inviting you to join me every Thursday at 3 o'clock and then again at 9 o'clock for a show on the great outdoors. I will inform and hopefully entertain you on everything outdoors, such as ideas on camping, fishing, hunting, as well as reviewing local microbreweries and sports bars. Also, please follow me on Twitter at Adventure Alley or email me at adventurealley@ibnetwork.us.
Programming produced by and for the Internet Broadcasting Network can be found on TuneIn. Be sure to take us with you by using the TuneIn app on all your mobile devices. This is the IB Network.
This week, my name is Harley Mitchell. Next week, I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll use your name. You see, I'm a cyber criminal, and I steal information that defines who you are. Things like your driver's license number, your birth date, your home address, your office address, your social security number, your medical information, insurance cards, business licenses, and if I can get it, your birth certificate. If I can get one, I can get the rest. It's not personal. It's just business. Once I have your information, I bundle it with others and I sell it. Not just once, but over and over and over and over and over.
Due to recent massive data breaches, your personal information is now available for cyber criminals like Harley to buy and sell to their underworld counterparts for profit. Bad people with bad intentions hiding behind your identity. Don't be fooled and lock down your financial life. Use the professionals that Fortune 500 companies use, ID Shield and Legal Shield. It costs less and reaches further. Don't lock down your life. Call Andrea Wacker and get the right protection for the right problem. Andrea Wacker is your Lady of Justice. Call now at 719-243-3174. That's 719-243-3174.
Hi everybody, yes, this is Dave Alley, and yes, this is, again, the Adventure Alley Show, and I'm coming to you from the remote IB Network studios here in Grand Junction, and kind of a stuffed up, snotty beak that I have here at this terrible, like I was telling, a terrible allergy season over here with all the fruit trees and all the warmer weather now. Everything's budding out, and boy, I'll tell you what, it's not good, especially when you have allergies like me, and I can't find anything that actually helps me through this times, but I will get through it. Spend more time outside running, and that would make my situation a lot better. One last thing about the last topic I was talking about snakes and so forth. This is an interesting story. Every time I go to the doctor, which isn't very often, I've tried like heck not to go to the doctor as often as I can. I have to go once a year to get the doctor to sign off on some medication that I'm taking for different things. But anyway, I have to go, and this is what I tell them every time I come in. You see the nurse or something, the practitioner, and she takes your blood pressure and your temperature to make sure that you have a few good vital signs. And every time I go in there, they always ask me, "Well, what are you in here for?" And well, when you call and make an appointment, you always tell them I'm here to get to see the doctor so he can renew my prescriptions on the pills and stuff that I need to take. And I thought that they would probably write that down or something on my appointment, but apparently not. But anyway, to get even with them, and this is kind of a terrible thing that I can get even with them, but it infuriates me. When they come in, they say, "What are you in here for?" I always tell them, "You know what I'm in here for? I got bit by a snake," and that just freaks them out. "Oh my God, should we call an ambulance or something?" No, I'm just kidding. But that infuriates me. But that's neither here nor neither there. So let's get away from the snakes. I'm definitely done with the snakes, and I hope since we're going into the summer season, I know it's not going to be possible, but I hope I don't see a snake. But I know that I probably will. But I don't know. That's like looking in the newspaper or the news and seeing Nancy Pelosi. I'd rather see a snake. But anyway. Well, let's talk a little bit about this. Speaking of hunting, this letter came. There's a letter here that I just had when this came out. I mean, I take a lot of newspapers throughout the United States, especially in the western part of the United States. And one of the newspapers I take is the San Francisco Chronicle. And this one person, I don't even know what kind of a person it is. I think it's maybe human or maybe subhuman. Anyway, they wrote this letter, and it was a letter to the editor. And it says, "To all hunters who kill animals for food, shame on you. You ought to go to a store and buy the meat that was made there, where an animal will not be harmed or suffer." And, I read that and I said, this has got to be some sort of a joke. But it absolutely was not. But all the fruits and nuts out there in San Francisco and in the West Coast, oh my God, you have to, you read this and you have to say, is this possible? And the thing that's the scary thing about this is this guy or person or whatever it is, this person probably drives a car, and this person probably votes, and this person probably has already reproduced. I mean, you think about it. Think about that. I mean, that's enough to sober you up from absolutely the very beginning. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Another quick note here about the Navajo Nation. They had plans this year to go into the reservation there and reduce the wild horse population by 60 horses. Right now, they figure that there's somewhere between 35 and 38,000 head of horses on the Navajo Nation reservation there down there in New Mexico, and they felt that was too much. And anyway, these horses are breeding like a bunch of sheep, and I don't know how often a horse breeds. Is it 1 year, every year, or every 2 years? I don't think it's every year. I think it's less than a cow or a steer, or I'm not a steer. What am I talking about? Steers can't reproduce. They don't have anything to reproduce with. They're mad as hell. Whoever put a rubber band around their old what. But anyway, the Navajo Nation got such a pushback from the public on going to reduce the population of these horses on their reservation that they decided to maybe put this on hold for a while and do some more research. And I don't know what the hell they're going to research, but they're going to do some more research so they can get some more statistics and some better information to give to the general public, so then they won't be seen as such a bunch of bad people killing horses just because they're overpopulated. But the thing about it is if you keep letting this go on, and the horses repopulate, or the horses numbers go up into any number at all, it's going to reduce the amount of food that each horse has to eat, and or cattle that are going to go out there to graze wherever they're at on the great Navajo Nation. So it's going to hurt everybody. It's not only going to hurt the horses, it's going to hurt the people, it's going to hurt other animals that are actually on this particular property. But anyway, they're going to do some more research. They're going to have another meeting on this sometime the end of July. And hopefully they can come up with some conclusion that either it's going to be a go or a not a go, or maybe they can catch these horses and give them to somebody. But that hasn't happened very good around here. There's a bunch of horse population just to the north of River Grand Junction, and they used to go up there and try to have a big roundup and take these horses and have people come in and adopt them, but no one wants a horse anymore because they're so damn expensive. They eat hay, and you got to border them, and you got to do this and take them to the vet and la-da-da. So it's not a good thing, and especially if you got an ATV now or a motorcycle or something. Horses are just I guess it's good for the Western movies, but they don't even make those anymore. So anyway, good luck to the Navajos. They've got an uphill battle trying to get through this mess with the horses, but hopefully they'll do it. My first thing about Utah is, and this is unusual too, because the state of Utah, when you think of Utah, you think, boy, these the straight-laced, these people in Utah are just about as straight as a string. I mean, these guys are honest as they come, and they're very religious. But this is something that caught everybody off guard. The state of Utah Bar Association apologized profusely the other day because they had sent out nude photos to all the bar members in the state of Utah. And this caught my eye because I thought to myself, how in the world could somebody from the Utah Bar Association, how could they actually send out nude pictures or topless pictures of these women to all the bar members? And the only thing I could think of is that maybe they went to the bar before they sent out the email. But it went out to over 25,000 lawyers and lawyers' offices in the state of Utah. And so they're doing some investigation to see how this happened. And they definitely apologized to everybody for that. But I don't know, maybe it excited some of those people in Utah. Maybe it did. I probably wouldn't excite me. Maybe it would have. I don't know. Nude picture? No, I guess not. But anyway, the Bar Association is apologized, and they're going to come to the realization of what in the world happened here, and they're definitely going to come to see whoever is responsible for this and make sure that they get the reprimand that they certainly deserve on this. But nude photos going out to all the lawyers in Utah. So what a thrill that must have been. But anyway, that's the first thing from off the deal from Utah. Let's see. Also, I got to say that before I forget, that March is Women's History Month, and there have been a lot of women that have had a really good and a very vital part of the great outdoors here in the United States. And let me see if I can pull something up here to just to kind of to show everybody what I mean. But they had Women's History Month here in March. And there was a bunch of things that the Interior Department came out with to prove that they're ahead of the curve here. We're trying to get women more involved and get the important jobs filled by women that are very smart and very impressive, and that they would obviously do a better job than most men. And seeing with the people that we have in Washington today, I can certainly understand that by no stretch of the imagination. It goes from the first Secretary of the Interior back in the early 2000s, and that was our own Gail Norton here in the state of Colorado, who was appointed by the Bushmaster George Bush. And then goes all the way back to the first woman National Park Ranger, Claire Hutchins, back in the turn of the century, and it just goes on and on. The first leader of the Indian Affairs was Ava Deer, and that was actually her name. Her name is Ava Deer. She's still around. She's not in that position anymore, but she was the first one for the Indian Affairs, which it's that's the way it should be. And then the first woman of the National Park Service Director, Fran Manella, and so forth. So there's just a bunch of good candidates that have been working for the Interior Department and with the national parks and the national parks and state parks all over the country that have been a good influence and definitely been a very, very good part of the government and the running of our government here in the United States. So more power to that, and more power to the women. That's what I'm saying. So anyway, but I think it's important to bring this out, because women don't get the due that they certainly should. So anyway, that's my spiel on women for the day. But okay, well, let me see if I can get into some stuff here for the state of Utah. There are so many things to see in the state of Utah. There are, there's just a ton of things to see, from spectacular canyons, obviously the Grand Canyon over by Arizona, but the dinosaur lands and the arches and so on and so forth. I mean, there's just a ton of things to do and see. I'm going to start basically close to home, and there's a dinosaur park, a theme park outside of Moab, Utah. And it's not actually that far from Grand Junction. I believe it's can't any more than an hour and a half from us. But it's a family dinosaur themed park, and it certainly is an adventure for the whole family. It's on Highway 112 west of Moab, and from the moment that you actually get out and walk around through the front gates, you'll experience an adventure, literally, that's like any other in Utah. There's a lot to see, and there's a lot to do, and it's going to take you basically a whole afternoon, or maybe even longer, to get through this and to discover everything that they have to offer there. You can take a stroll down a half-a-mile dinosaur trail, and you can see over 100 dinosaurs, literally the size of they think these dinosaurs were, 100 of them that they have on display, and it's out on a natural walkway, so you think that you're actually going back in time and you actually see these dinosaurs. And you'll see from dinosaurs of all sizes, big ones, small ones, and they look realistic because they're up against that desert motif, and that certainly is makes everything look more real. Let me see what else here. Once you also get through that half a mile of seeing the life-size dinosaurs, you can also visit a shaded dig site and actually dig for dinosaur bones if you want. And they'll furnish you shovels and brooms and all that stuff, and you can get down there and get your hands dirty and see if you can dig anything out. They've got some that they're actually working on. They got people there that will help you. But this is something that's spectacular, something that you can actually do and get down and see how the actual dinosaur diggers dig. They're not called dinosaur diggers; they're called geologists, I think. No, that's just people who look at rocks. I don't know what they're called, but you can get down there and have some fun. They also have a playground. They have a museum. They have a giant cafe where you can get food and so forth. And they're open 7 days a week, and they're open from 10 to 6. And if you are in the area of Moab, Utah, if you have kids and you don't go to this place, you need to rethink about it, because this is the real deal. I'm going to go and take my last break, and then I'll be back here, and we'll finish up with some more great stuff to do in the state of Utah.
Programming produced by and for the Internet Broadcasting Network can be found on TuneIn. Be sure to take us with you by using the TuneIn app on all your mobile devices. This is the IB Network.
This week, my name is Harley Mitchell. Next week, I'm not sure yet. Maybe I'll use your name. You see, I'm a cyber criminal, and I steal information that defines who you are. Things like your driver's license number, your birth date, your home address, your office address, your social security number, your medical information, insurance cards, business licenses, and if I can get it, your birth certificate. If I can get one, I can get the rest. It's not personal. It's just business. Once I have your information, I bundle it with others and I sell it. Not just once, but over and over and over and over and over.
Due to recent massive data breaches, your personal information is now available for cyber criminals like Harley to buy and sell to their underworld counterparts for profit. Bad people with bad intentions hiding behind your identity. Don't be fooled and lock down your financial life. Use the professionals that Fortune 500 companies use, ID Shield and Legal Shield. It costs less and reaches further. Don't lock down your life. Call Andrea Wacker and get the right protection for the right problem. Andrea Wacker is your Lady of Justice. Call now at 719-243-3174. That's 719-243-3174.
This is Dave Alley, and this is the Adventure Alley Show. Back after the last break with my stuffiness, and boy, I tell you what, this allergy season is a killer. Breathing and hard to breathe, got coughing, and snot running down your cheek. That doesn't look good, but good thing you get this thing radio and not television. Talking about our friends over in Utah. Before I get into some really good details as far as some great places to go, there's some interesting facts about Utah that I think are important, and one of them is it's called Salt Lake is their capital, and for a good reason. It's literally on the bank of the largest saltwater lake in the Western Hemisphere, and I guess when the ocean retreated from North America, it left this big pool of water, and there it is, and it has been there since forever. Well, not forever, but pretty close to forever. But anyway, it's still there. I remember when I was a kid, we went out to the Great Salt Lake, and I don't remember much about it. I know it was horrible if you got it in your mouth because it was really salty. There's nothing that lives in it that I'm aware of, maybe some algae or maybe some bacteria of some sort. I don't even think that if you can go out and boat on it. I guess you can boat on it, but even if you got out there and had to check the prop, I don't think that would even affect it. Maybe a little more salty, but it's neither here nor there. But anyway, that's one thing about the great state of Utah. It has the biggest indoor, or the surrounded by land, salty body of water that there is in the Western Hemisphere. Also, that there are 5 national parks in the state of Utah, which is a great thing. There's a lot of states that don't have any. And also, Utah hosts the biggest and best, they say, film festival in the country, and that was started back by your friends Robert Redford and whoever that other joker was, Paul Newman, back in the 70s. Because they filmed the majority of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid in Utah. They still film a lot of stuff in Utah because it's beautiful country. And the state of Utah has 45 state parks, so there's always places you can go to camp and get out in the great outdoors. And most of them have facilities that will accommodate anybody. So if you're thinking about going out to Utah, there's a lot of state campgrounds and parks to visit. So go on their internet, Utah.org, and they'll come up with all the parks and stuff that you have an interest in going out to see. And there's a bunch of them. I would recommend it. Also, Utah is one of the largest LGBT communities in the country. And if you don't know what LGBT is, and I'm not up on all this stuff, but it's the lesbian, gay, and transgender and transsexual community. So, and that's kind of interesting. I think probably Brigham Young is rolling over in his grave after having that. But it's one of the largest communities in the country. So, if you want some diversity, throw a snake or a rabbit in there too, and boy, you've got a good thing going. But yeah, it has one of the largest LGBT communities in the country. So have fun with that, I guess. They do also have excellent snow in the state of Utah. They have actually more snow in some areas than we do here in the state of Colorado, and that also helps the water situation for Lake Powell and for Lake Mead in Nevada. And it was also here is it's really interesting that the Utah has one of the heaviest living organisms in the world that's in the state of Utah. And by that I mean it is the largest body of Quaking aspen trees in the world. Now you're thinking to yourself, what does that mean? It's an organism. Well, a Quaking aspen or an aspen tree is basically a weed, and one tree grows all the trees, so it's considered an organism. But it's got one of the largest acreages of, I guess that's how you would say it, of Quaking aspen trees in the world, and it weighs over 660,000 tons, and it's over 80,000 years old. So that's just another thing about the state of Utah. I would have never have guessed that, and I don't really care about that. I think of an aspen tree. I think of, the yellow tree or the yellow leaves in the fall, and it's a nice shady tree, and it doesn't have a lot of things for an upkeep if you're going to have it in your yard. But anyway, they're nice trees. I enjoy aspen trees a lot. More Western movies are made in the state of Utah than anywhere else in the country. They also have 15 award-winning microbreweries and over 16 award-winning vineyards in the state of Utah. There's also dinosaur bones just about any place in the state of Utah. If you want to go out and walk down a trail or walk up in the mountains or something, you'll probably run across a dinosaur bone. And their claim to fame is that it's an excellent place to raise kids. So if you're thinking about moving somewhere to the west, the people from Los Angeles are moving in groves from there to east into Utah or Colorado. There you go. Please don't come to Colorado. It's just not. Just please don't come here if you're from Los Angeles. And I used to live in Los Angeles, so don't come here. The next stuff I'm going to go over is this is the nuts and bolts of Utah. There is just amazing places. Like I was talking to you, they have the 5 national parks in the state of Utah. And the first one is Zion's National Park, which is the closest to St. George, Utah, and the western edge of Utah. And you can see all kinds of gigantic red and white monolith towers of these spiraling pieces of rock. They look like skyscrapers, they really do. And then in between there's little pockets of fauna and fauna. There's fauna and fauna. I never could quite get that figured out. I said that a couple of years ago. I couldn't figure out. It's fauna and fauna. No, fauna and fauna. Well, whatever it is. Plants and animals is what it is. And they're in between all these giant lithographs and so forth. And also in the great Zion National Park, the Virgin River runs through there, and it's carved out literally a canyon that's over 2,000 feet deep. So that's Zion's National Park. That's the biggest and one of the most visited parks in the state of Utah. Bryce Canyon, which isn't that far away from Zion's, it's a lot of places to hike, a lot of places to see some of those famous monoglyphs, and they're called hoodoos too. They look like ghosts, and there's plenty of places to hike and to walk, as I was saying. There's places to stay, a lot of campgrounds and so forth, and there's also some other areas around there. The great staircase. Escalante National Monument, which is also there, and it has places to camp, places to drive. You don't have to get out and walk very far if you want to have some fun there. There's plenty of dining and lodging all the way around Zion's and also Bryce Canyon. So if you're going to go there and you're thinking about packing a lunch, oh my God, we didn't pack a lunch today. Well, you don't have to. There's plenty of places there that you can stop and eat. Well, I can see right now that I've gone past my allotted time, so I'm going to have to pick this up next week and finish this up as far as the great tour there of the state of Utah. So I apologize for that because I was running late and certainly was running over some stuff that probably didn't have a whole lot of interest to a lot of people. Maybe it did. But anyway, For the IB Network, my studio engineer, Tim Wacker, my equipment engineer, Carson Breeze, my IT engineer, Blake Olson, this is David Alley saying, you only live once, so get out and have some fun in the great outdoors. This has been Against the Grain production. This is the IB Network.